Alright, so I was debating when to put this deck profile up. I'm not gonna lie, I've been procrastinating the longest. Like, I finished it maybe a week ago. And I was like, it's to perfection for the way I love it, the way I want it, the way I built it. And it just flows, it catches people off guard. It's considered rogue. And I just been bodying people left and right. So I was like, I've been playing on Master Duels more too, but they don't have all the cards because they're not fully updated to our what cards we have. So playing on Master Duels, I forgot how to maximize my deck. When I started playing with it locals and bodying people, I was like, oh shit, I forgot I could do this, and I forgot I could do that, and I'm like, yo, I forgot the true power of playing my deck at full power. Since Master Duels is not at full power, meaning I don't have all the cards for my deck in there because some of them are way newer. But I finished my deck in real life, so yeah, going back to locals more often, and I just love my build. And I play it a lot online, so it's like you just want to play in real life, and when it works out in real and online, you want to play in real life anyways. But before I get into it, it'll be quick and fast, and I'll say a few combos or a few cards that make sense why. But as we all say goodbye to one of the greatest persons of our childhood, if it wasn't for Yu-Gi-Oh, I deal with suicide, so I probably would have been killed myself a long time ago. But two things that have helped me distract my mind with strategy, math, and everything, and just losing myself in something else is Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. I play other games, but those are my main two I've been playing since I was 16. I am now 39. So, rest in peace. You'll greatly be missed. You were a big part of my life, a big chunk of my life. From 16 to 39, shit. That's 23 plus years. Words can't describe how much you mean to me, what you've done for me, and many more of us in the community. So, with that being said, you made a game for what you wanted and from the heart, and I play a deck I love my way from the heart. And I don't care if it's not meta, I don't care if it loses, I don't care if it wins. It's fun to me, and I just OTK people left and right. It's a lot of math in it, so that's the part I love in the artwork. But let's get into this. And I love everything from the Egyptian time period. Got my Anubis ring, Eye of Ra, and dual disc. I love my dual disc. The Egyptian rod. I figured it's only fitting since I play Ra. And the old school deck, the old school deck boxes when Yu-Gi-Oh first came out, when they first started making deck boxes. Like I said, I've been playing for a long time. So let's put these up here. And these are the old cards from like Duelist Kingdom. So start with the main deck. We've got one Winged Dragon Aura. That's all we really need. 3 Sphere Mode. And then there's 2 sets of Warriors, which I play with the Knights. Most people say Arcana Knights. It's whatever you want, but everything's Warrior, so I figured why not call the deck Warriors of Ra, because I like playing it with Ra. So we got 3 Joker's Knights, 2 Queen's Knights, 2 King's Knights, 1 Jack. You really don't need more. And that's it for the King's Knight supports. So these are these sets of Warriors. Now for the other half, because I've always had trouble like beating them down, where I'll do like 7,900 damage and I can never push for game because and sometimes they will come back from that 100, or I'll just beat them next turn. But now the way I play is guaranteed I'm OTKing no matter one shot. So I play with the Heroic Challenge challengers. And I play 3 Morningstar because this is a starter by itself. Also searches. And their spell card can be Ash. So it's like this can bait out Ash too, and then you can just go into them. 2 Knuckle Sword. You can use a spell card when he's normal summon or special summon. You can use a spell card to search him out. Because he only searches spells, and then he special summons when you have another heroic monster on the field. So, and then he targets it, and you can make them both either level 1 or level 4. So you can go into level 4 plays, which is what I do, or level 1. So I don't use them for what they do. I use them my way, and then everything is just 4s. 1 Herald. He's a Cyber Dragon. If they have a monster and you don't, you can special summon this and just another extender. And then you go with the Knights, and then you could just punch for game. Or you could normal summon and then special summon that one too. So it's like there's much things you could do. Not only that, it's like you can normal summon him. Let's say this is the only card you have. Attack. Even if it pierces in defense mode, which is what it does. And then once you do damage, you can search out a heroic monster. So it's like he does damage, you can search out him. And then that same turn, since he searched them out, you can special summon him since you control a heroic, make them both 4s, and then go into a 4 play. 4 play. And then the last 2 monsters are 2 Vanity's Fiend. So it's like with the spell card, you could guaranteed get out 3 free Knights, go into a level 4, a rank 4, and then you can tribute Jack for Vanity's Fiend because you didn't use your normal summon. This sets up a floodgate so you don't have to worry about being kaiju'd or anything. And sometimes they can't even get over him. So you could just punch for game. And what I like is, even if you bring out him, you could... Next turn, you can search him. I mean, if you have him or you search him with the search spells, you can summon him. And, you know, you're playing slow. So, like, he can attack, pierce if they're under 18 defense. And then he could just search out him. And then it's like, you know, with these two, like you're doing damage, punching in the face, and then he searched out him. So then following turn, you can do the same thing, but now you can normal summon that, search out the spell, which will get you the other one. And then it's like you're adding more damage per turn instead of just sitting there, just attacking with him, and that's it. Because he shuts down, he shuts down your spell cards too. So that's it for the monsters. It's a 45 card deck. And then for the spells, you have your 3 Joker straight. This has a lot of spells in it. Not OD a lot, but decent amount. So this will set up your 3 Knights, and like I said, you get 3 free monsters on board from just a spell card, and you didn't use up your normal monster, but that can be ashed. Then you have your reinforcements. You can search out whatever. So you can use this as baiting out their ash too, and then you can still go to things, and you can use this for Morningstar. Then Morningstar summon, search out their spell card. Then the spell card, search out the level 1/1. So it's like you're deck thinning for like 3-4 cards in one shot. So that's why I don't mind the F45. Speaking of their spell card, I run 2 Heroic Envoys, which this card lets you search out any other heroic monsters, and if your life points is under 500, you can banish it and select another heroic card and add it to your hand. So it's like if you have both of these in your graveyard and you have under 500 life points, you can banish one, add the other one, so you can just search again. Or if you have the monster in the graveyard that you need, you can just use it to get the monster. Same thing with heroic Morningstar. Morningstar under 500 life points, you can special summon it from the graveyard, but it's banished when it leaves. But if you go into a rank or whatever, you don't have to worry about that. Also, more cards you can play to bait out their ash. 1 Change of Heart. And then we go into the staples. So 1 Double or Nothing for the Utopia combo. Since you play the spell card, you're locked into Light Warriors, which is what the actual deck mainly is. 1 Harpies, get rid of cards, back row. 1 Cauldron of the Old Man, and this is for multiple reasons, but more so when you use the heroic monsters that's rank 4 to give up all your life points. You basically have 500 left, so you can use this, which I've done tons of times, to just regain your life points. So like you could burn at first, and then once you go into your rank 4, which I'll bring it up, then you can just use this effect. You're down to 500 life points, and then use this with how many encounters you have and just keep getting life points back. Not only that, if your opponent's playing Mystic Mine or of any kind and they're slow playing, especially at tournaments, you play this, you just gain back life points. So it's like you'll win even if it's a slow play and they think that they're gonna outplay you. So it's a very useful card randomly in here. I mean, it's not random, it's like I play it for a reason. And then we have our draw cards, card destruction. And the reason I take this in is perfectly for the fact where all my other brothers and sisters who play the knights, you know how the spell, trap, and monster recycle by putting back a light warrior, and sometimes you're like, damn, you don't have enough to recycle all your light warriors, so you could just keep playing. So it's like after you do your combo, let's say you have a second set of the spell, trap, and the joker, you can use this, discard all 3, you're not going negative. You discard those 3, draw 3 new cards, and then on end phase, the spell, trap, and monster that recycle are going to come back to your hand by putting back. So if you think about it, you're discarding them, drawing 3, and then on end phase, you're going to get 3 more cards back when they recycle the same cards you discarded recycle. So it's like you're not going negative, and you get draw power. So it's like, why not? Same with Pot of Avarice. Sometimes all your resources, monsters are in the graveyard. The extra deck are light warriors. King, queen, and jack are light warriors. And you just want to bring them back more so you could just do more plays, especially with a boss monster. So it's like you can do that. Put all the exceeds back. Use the spell and traps to put the monsters back. Or if you want all of the kings and queens back in the deck, use that, draw 2, and then continue going from there. It's been real useful, and like I said, I love this card. I was just dueling on Master Duels, and I was like, damn, I'm looking at my hand, I'm like, I need these cards in the graveyard more so I can recycle, especially sometimes you have all the queens, both queens in the graveyard, and you need to recycle them, but you have the spell and trap cards and the monster in your hand, so you need a way to get them in the graveyard so you can recycle queen to keep going with the combo, because queen is the pinpoint of the spell card. You need her, she's vital. So then it just hit me, card destruction. I could play card destruction, get rid of the spell, monster, and trap. Then they will recycle, and I'm drawing 3 cards on top of that. Or if you have 2, draw 2 on top of that. And then they're going to recycle, putting queen back. So then you're good to go with your Joker straight combo. And then for our OTK, which nobody really sees coming, or they forgot about it, or whatever. But everybody who knows me knows about it now. So Stoic Challenge. Equip this to an Exceed monster. There's going to be a lot of math, because they're going to be adding, subtracting, and multiplications and everything. So this is an OTK enabler, but they need a monster for you to do the double battle damage. If they don't, it just adds a lot more power. But if it's a monster battling another monster, especially if they're 0 attack, you're just OTKing. So that's our OTK enabler. Love this deck. The trap card I was talking about, Joker Straight, which does the same thing as the spell card, but also lets you normal summon and special summon on their turn. So like I said with the Nibiru, you can play this special queen, because normally they let it go, especially if they don't know what you're doing, and he's just going to summon out king, queen, and jack, and that's it. They ain't got nothing. So normally you set, let's say they summon their 3rd monster, their 3rd boss monster, and you play this, and they say, oh, I'll let it go. You're just going to summon 3 knights, I'm going to beat you. Like, alright. Think that way. Play this while you have Sphere Mode in your hand. Discard one of the other cards, send a spell to the graveyard. Special queen. Search out king. And then you can normal summon immediately after that. So if you have Sphere Mode and they have 3 monsters, you can tribute all 3 of their monsters, basically turning your Sphere Mode into an Nibiru on their turn. And if they can't see that coming, you're just clearing their board. You have king in hand. you have your spelling trap in the graveyard. So then on your turn, you draw. You can summon King, since Queen is on the field already from the previous turn. Special summon Jack, and you can just go from there and just... they never see it coming, and it just works so well together. Then for our Spicy Tech, and I forgot his name, I'll put it in the description. I saw it on his YouTube channel where he went to locals and played with it, and I completely forgot about this old card, and I love playing old decks and old cards, making them relevant. So, the Grave of the Super Ancient Organisms, which works so perfectly with this deck, because with Stoic Challenge, it's great to have monster on their field, and you have a monster so you can OTK. So basically, this is an old Mystic Mine before Lynx and Exceeds came out. This came out when Blackwing came out, which were synchros. So this says level 6 and higher special summon monsters, which is perfect because Jack is a 5 and lower. So 6 and higher. And Vanity's Fiend is a 6, but he's a normal summon, so this doesn't apply to him. So any 6 and higher monsters can't activate their effect or attack. So it's basically an old school Mystic Mine. And it's perfect for this deck and my build. So it's like I can lock you on the field. I can still summon my Exceeds as long as you have 6 or higher monsters, synchros, fusions, and everything else. And then I can just steadily go on my monster's effects and then equip Stoic Challenge since you have a monster, and then proceed to just OTK you from there. So this is better than Mystic Mine because mine still has to play certain monsters. So once I normal summon a monster before an extra monster, then they can just go off with their effects. But while this is on the field, they can't activate 6 or higher effects. Like when they fusion summon on your turn or whatever, they won't get their effects. And I can proceed to just OTK. So I love this card. And I'm going to look up the person right after I finish this video and give him a shout out in the description, because I apologize for not remembering before. 3 Solemn Judgments. You want to negate and protect your setups and everything, and then push for a game. And then, like I said, it's an OTK deck, so it's good for going first with floodgates and everything, or going second. And the last final card to make it 45 is Red Reboot. So it's like as long as you're pushing for a game, and even if they have back row and that's all they have, as long as it's traps, you can just play Red Reboot, giving up half your life points, which this deck doesn't even care about life points. It's just gonna OTK regardless, and you can just negate, put it down, and continue with your OTK. Now let's speed this up because we're getting closer to it being too long. So my deck boss monster is, why not, is Utopia Draco Future. And you can make this easily in this deck. He's a 3000, can be destroyed by battle or card effects. Can be get rid of by other ways, but we don't care about that. And it works well with Stoic Challenge because Stoic Challenge can OTK and it's very powerful, but on the end phase of your opponent's turn, while it's equipped, if they survive that turn, it normally will send itself to the graveyard and destroy the monster it was equipped to. So since he has built-in protection from destructions, yours or your opponent's, it just works well with him. And then the way to easily bring him out is with Utopia Future, which you need 2 rank 4s that are non-number cards, which is perfectly fine because we have a lot of those. And I recently found out because of Master Duels, the Exorcist monsters are light warriors, so it's like I've been using them to my benefit, but just 3 of them, and it's just more fuel in the chamber, so we can OTK and more options to choose from instead of being generically locked into generic ones, but they're like a few only. So the only heroic champion Exceed monster we have is this one, and he gives up all your life points until 500. Then you can during battle phase, you can select one of your monsters. You don't have to attack with that one. It's just you're selecting the first monster, and his attack is getting doubled. So with him and Stoic Challenge, it's like I've been OTKing left and right. So if you, let's say they're wide open, and you normally go into Utopia double for an OTK, going second as long as they have a monster, he'll drop their monsters to 0, and he's 6000, but he has to attack a monster he can't attack directly. So with the spell, is an OTK 14 plus damage 14,000 plus damage. So him is like they don't need a monster. Like you can use him, use his effect, which is a lingering effect, then equip the spell, and then he'll get powered up by 600 for each material, and then because his effect is lingering, you can select him again, and he gets powered up. Even that attack gets doubled. So instead of 25, he's 37, and then you select him again, he's 74 damn attack by himself. And if you have more exceeds on the field, the Stoic Challenge powers them up by each material for every exceed you have. Let's speed this up instead of talking. One Excalibur. Detach. His attack is doubled. One Paladimo. These are generics. They're all light warriors. These are generics. Exorcisters. She's generic and she's a little Utopia, but only for monsters. So it's like that's why I like her too. And she's a generic light warrior, which is any 2 level 4 monsters, which is perfect. So it's like even if I don't have Utopia on the field, I could just bounce problematic cards. Now I like this one too because she has a big booty, and you know I love big booties. 2,800 defense, and her effect, you detach all exceed monsters this turn get 800. So even if you was to summon her, use her effect, and then you got rid of her to go into the rank ups, they each get 800 for this turn. And I just love it where if I use it in combination with these two, I can bring out this first, drop their attack to 0, use her, detach, power up all my exceeds by 800, and then you have 2 rank 4s. So like you can go into that one and then Draco, and Draco will come out with 3,800 attack. And then if you equip Stoic Challenge, that's just guaranteed game, and you already dropped their attack to 0, negates their effects. He's 38 plus, and then the battle damage is doubled. So it's like it's just crazy. Or you can even, if they're already low in attack, you could play it's just so many options. I'm not gonna get to it. You see my other videos. And then so you have 2 of these. If you want to attack them directly with 2 attacks, you could act this one. I'm not trying to butcher their name, so that's why I'm not saying it. So like you can guarantee summon these 2, use, or not even, you can use her and the Stoic, the Heroic Champion one, and use her to make all attacks of exceeds 800. You can bring this one out and use this effect to double your attack during battle damage, and then, well, that's game either way by itself. And I'm just thinking you can't do that because she requires 2 of these. So you can, either way, you can use both of these, bounce one of their monsters, use her to power up, and then when you bring this one out by overlaying these 2 as materials, she'll be 34 because of this effect, and she can attack twice, and then whatever other cards you brought out to the field is just OTK from there. Basic generic, Utopia double, any level 4s, which will go into your Beyond. Drops all their attacks to 0 and becomes 6,000. Generic Pleiades. We got Shark Fortress for a guaranteed reason. This is generic in my builds, and I love old school cards. So 1 Zeus, you already know why. 1 Bardiche, Barbushk, whatever. And like I said, with the Stoic monster, you can summon the star one, search out the spell, search out the level 1, make them both 4s, and then even if they stopped everything else and you went into that, you can just go into this and then just sit on this for 1 turn or 2 until your setup is complete. And that's if they don't run it links and stuff. And the final card is Pentastage. Why? There are tons of time I've created a field with pure power and they just playing defensively and I cannot beat them for game because they're going defensive, and I'm like, then I put this in, I can get rid of any of the exceeds or the monsters themselves as long as I didn't play into Joker straight, which locks them into only light warriors. And there are tons of monsters that just extend for free to get them on board. Then you go into this first, and then you could go into this first, then you can play the spell, and you could go into Utopia Beyond combo, putting it underneath this one, and now he's 6,000 and he can pierce because of this. And then you play Stoic Challenge, depending on what their defense is, which is normally low. You can just punch them per game. They have Spear Reaper, punch them per game. Marshmallow on, punch them per game. Doesn't matter. Can't be destroyed by battle. But you're in defense mode with little defense. Utopia Beyond is 6,000 plus a spell would boost him. And then battle damage is doubled. It's just game. The extra deck can be whatever you want. And that's basically it. And what I love about Morningstar is he can be normal or special with warrior cards. So it's like you can easily, like I said, go into 2 of the rank 4 super easily with him as an extender. Like playing just the spell and him alone is a 2-card combo where you could go into Draco Future, where play the spell, bring out all 3 knights. Now, because of his effect to special summon, if you control 2 or more warrior monsters, you can special summon him for free. And then when he's special or normal, you get to search the spell. So it's like you have all 3 knights, extend for free, search out the spell search out the level 1. The level 1 is also a special summon for free since he's on board, making them both 4. So then you can use these 2 to go into 4, the king and queen to go into a 4, and that's an easy 2-card combo for Draco Fusion. And or if you want to normal summon this first, search out the spell, search out the level 1. The level 1 and this can go into Pentastage. Then you can play the spell, which locks you into Light Warriors, and going into the Utopia Beyond, which is OTK, as long as you have the right setup. And that's basically still a 2-card combo if they're playing defensively. Everything else depends on what they have, what you have, but I've been OTKing left and right. These are also free extenders. And then if they have a monster, and it's come out sometimes where I'll search out the Cyber Dragon one, special for free, and then I'll just tribute for Vanity's Fiend, and they only have 1 monster in defense mode, which special summon, and it just locks them out. So it's like, there's so much you can do with this. I love my build. Play your build the way you love it, the way you want it, and what works for you. Don't listen to anybody else if they don't know how your deck works. Yeah, advice is good, but it ultimately comes down to what you like. We don't want to make all our decks the same and run the same way and be the same way. For what? There's no originality in that way. So play what you love what you play, and keep getting better from there. I've won a ton of duels with this. You can ask about me. Gamer's Choice and other places. I'm planning to take this to the next regional, but I've also lost duels. Ain't no deck 100% win rate. But it's fun, and I get much respect for playing this deck, this build my way, and winning. So that's it. Sorry if it got long, but it's a big part of my life, and it's helped me in ways nobody else can comprehend. And I love math, the math part of it, the artwork, and coming up with decks just to be me, unique. I hope you like, and I hope you're at a good place in your life and enjoying what you do. Latest.